Hey,
How
how's it
are you?
going? I'm doing
Good.
so good. How are you doing? It's been
I'm good. I feel like it's
forever.
been like a year since I've been able to talk to you.
Yeah, at least it's been forever, truly.
What are all of besides the music, what are all the big life changes in the last year that we've experienced? Any new and
Whew.
exciting things that we get to announce or?
Yeah, well, I got engaged, which is very
Oh,
cool. I know how adults. I bought a house, which is very cool.
so you were
So
telling
all of
me
the adult
a-
stuff.
about a year ago, this is one of my favorite clips that's ever happened in an interview because we were talking about Songland and Champagne Night and you're like, with the Champagne Night money, I'm able to buy a house. That's what being a
Yeah,
songwriter can do for you.
yeah, for sure. I know, and here I am in said house, which is what a blessing. I feel like when you choose music as your career path, you give up the security. Like you might never buy a house. I don't know. It's like I could live in this apartment forever. It's just such like an unpredictable life path. So feels very good. That's for sure.
Do you have like a Madeline lab set up yet somewhere in the house that's like your space with guitars and keyboards and
Yes. Okay. You know, it's so sad though. I've got the little office, like music room set up, but the Wi-Fi doesn't work in there, which is so ironic. Like this is literally the office, but it won't it works okay, but not enough for like a good Zoom. So I got to do it in my kitchen, which defeats the whole purpose, but whatever.
no, I love it. It's a great aesthetic. It's lovely. So,
Thanks.
can we talk about the engagement a little bit? Like, I love
Yeah, of
engagement
course.
stories.
For sure. Yeah. It was good. It was very unexpected. We had obviously talked about getting engaged, but that day we were at like a brunch. So it's kind of like dressed up, and then we're going to his friend's farm, and we were gonna go like ATVing and shoot skeets and stuff. And so I was getting changed in like sweatpants, and my fiance was like, "You can't get changed," because he knew we were gonna get photos, whatever. And I was like, "Why? We're going to the farm. Like obviously we would." And so he lied and said my friend was getting engaged. And so I was like, oh my gosh, my eyes are like watering. I'm like, I'm so happy for them, like the whole thing. So the video, like I'm like sneaking up thinking I'm gonna like watch my best friend get engaged, and then I was being proposed to. So I was so like caught off guard in it. So it was kind of sweet. I feel like sometimes you hear proposals like they knew it was coming or whatever. I did not know at all. So that's kind of fun.
So it's so funny because your story is so similar to my brother's. They were in Italy and he had this whole plan. He traveled with the ring all throughout Europe, stressing out. Finally had the plan. And then his wife was like, "Okay, let's go for dinner." But they just came from the beach and she like didn't want to doll up for dinner. And he's like, could you like brush your hair and like put on so she's like, "Why? What's the matter?"
I
You
love
didn't
that.
have the friend excuse that your fiance had.
Yes, totally. It was the Hail Mary. He said, he's like, I did not know what to say. Cause I was like, I'm a very stubborn, like once I was like, I'm getting changed. Like I'm a very like headstrong person. So he was like, you weren't changing your mind. I had to come up with something.
Do you remember?
So
Because
funny.
when I proposed, I blacked out. I don't remember what I said.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he said? What you said?
I think we all blacked out.
Yeah.
He said he had this like whole thing prepared and like didn't say any of it. I know he said something along the lines of like, I prayed for you so hard and like, here you are kind of thing. Something very sweet. That's like all I remember. I'm pretty sure he talked for like a minute, but that's like all I can remember out of it. I was like, oh, what? Totally. And I just fall to the ground too, which I've realized that's my like reaction. My sister told me she's pregnant and I just like dropped to the ground. I can't explain it. I just like, my legs like collapse. Like my
So
I don't know.
If people in your life ever put like pillows around you, you know good things are coming. Like there's some sort of
Totally.
announcement happening, right?
Yeah, once the pad comes out, like the plush pad, I know something's coming for me.
So, but as a songwriter, do you feel pressure now with a wedding coming up to write something? Because that's a special day.
Yeah, you know, I've got that question a bit. I don't think I'm going to. I don't know. I feel like it is a lot of pressure, and I'm like, this is like going to be forever. And oftentimes, like, you know, you like it, and then time goes by, and you're like, maybe I don't like that. And so we're both obviously lovers of music, and so we've got our songs that feel like they're going to be timeless and special to us. So I think we'll probably just use them. That doesn't say I might not sing at the wedding. I'm not sure yet. I haven't made up my mind. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to write something, but that could change. I could just write like the perfect song and then maybe I will, but nothing comes to mind
I sang
yet.
at my wedding, but it was shirts off and I was singing Bohemian Rhapsody with all my groomsmen. So I think everybody at some point sings at their wedding.
Totally. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. That's more of the vibe I'm thinking for sure.
So, but when it comes to that kind of thing, because I would imagine being a songwriter is hard. You get ideas in the middle of the night, you get ideas on the road when you're on a bus, you get ideas in the shower, and then you never know, like, is that going to be a hit? Is that not going to be a hit? Where do a lot of your ideas strike you the most? Is it when you're trying to fall asleep? Is it on the road?
It's honestly like all the time, like in the most random moments. Definitely right before you're about to fall asleep, I'll like roll over and like grab my phone and write it down, or you will forget. Never just wait. I think playing live too, like sparks something. It's like a creative place to be making it. But I think being a great songwriter really is just having your antennas up and listening to everything. Like every time there's a Yellowstone episode, I swear I write down like 3 ideas just from something like Beth Dutton says, or, like I think that the world is very poetic in a way, and certain feelings and perspectives and stuff. So I don't know, I've always got like a running notepad, anything that I'm like, that would make a cool song, or that's an interesting thing that person said. I'm going to write that down and see if I can put it in a song. Not
at all the same, but the same, because we have to plan radio show. Our same thing. I'm on a bad idea for the show. I'm on whatever. Yeah. So same kind of thing. You steal things from all over the place, right? Inspiration, right?
Yeah, exactly.
On the new EP, can you remember where all the inspiration came for? Like, say, Slide. Do you remember where you were when that came?
Yeah, that has like a bit of a unique story, because my producer called me and he was like, I started this song like a year ago with Sam Hunt and this guy named Jerry Flowers. We don't have an idea or anything. It's just like this melody and this track that has this like throwback kind of cool beat to it. Would you want to finish it and like write like a lyric and tweak melodies and stuff? And I was like, of course, for sure. I'd miss my own funeral for such event for sure. So I was like, heard the song, it felt really fresh and cool, and I was like, I need a cool hook, like I need a cool idea. And I spent like 4 days like driving around, thinking about it, listening to music, and it was so weird. I was driving and all of a sudden I was like, let's watch tonight slide into yesterday. It just like popped in my head. I'm like, whoa, okay. And then it was like slide, and it was like, you could slide out back, you could slide on the dance floor, you could slide, and it just, this whole slide fascination happened to me. And I like ran in the writing room like, y'all slide, and they're like, yeah, that's rad, we love that. So that one, like I swear, just like came from the heavens, just popped in my head, which is so random.
I could have helped you a lot sooner. I go to the park with my daughter every day. We're always on the slide. That would have been like 2 seconds.
I love it. There you go. You got to share these good ideas with me. Come on.
This is what I'm here for. I'm always here.
Pick
my brain whenever you need. But when you finish that song, and because you have your team that listens to it and they've been around the song and it's marinating and you guys have heard it over and over and over and different iterations, who's the first person you take it to with fresh ears to say, for real, what do you think?
That's a good question. I think it definitely goes through a string of people. That one was great because it was like the catalyst. I think to the other songs, it unlocked something in me. And I sent it to my A&R and my new label. And it was the most, because I had just signed with them like last year. And it was the most excited he was about anything I had sent him. And so that was a huge like reinforcement. He was like, this feels really cool. And I was like, this feels cool, and played it for like a couple of friends and my fiance, and there's like a few personal people. And then I've got like one of my great friends works at Spotify, and I'll like send it to her. I'm like, what do you think about this? I have a few key people that I'll run songs by to get their feedback. And if they're like, I just sent that line hit me wrong. And your publisher too, they're great. They've got great ears for that kind of thing. So I've got my list of people I send it over to.
Who's the most honest though? Because we all have like people in our lives that are always going to say, I love it, you're doing great. But then we always have like the friend we've had since we were 2 that's like, I'm gonna be real with you.
That's that. I would say my producer, he's very blunt. I mean, I'll like come in, I'll be like, I have this cool idea, and I'll like say to him, and he'll be like, that's not that good. Like, dang, dude. Like, he is like, which is great because when something's cool, like he's really on board for it. But I swear, like he's very blunt, very honest. But I feel like in my career and like life, I've surrounded myself with people like that. I'm not an artist that needs like a ton of like positive reinforcement. It means so much more if you give it to me when it's actually good versus like always tell me I'm doing a good job. I feel like that doesn't really like strengthen you as an artist. So you need those people that are honest, I think.
I think that's everything in life. Like it's even, and this is a bad example, but some people always say I love you, but then some people only say it when they really are looking at you and you can tell like, oh, that's really, really sweet. Like you can tell.
Yeah, that's very true. Absolutely. Yeah, it means more.
You mentioned Slide kind of unlocked something for the rest of the EP, and it's so cool you said that, because as I was listening, it's not like every song sounds the same, but there's a vibe to it, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And it's cool knowing that it started with Slide, because you can tell there's a certain vibe throughout the EP that I love.
Yeah, thanks so much. I really wanted to. I feel like I'm an artist. I try not to do the same thing twice. Like I try to move on from this thing. Like it didn't. Like I don't know if I'll do something that sounds just like it did. It stands alone. It's done its own thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go over here. And I wanted it to be instrument-wise more country. I wanted the lyric to be kind of different, and I'm going over here now. And I couldn't figure out what that was until I wrote Slide, and then it Youngish in the same way, like kind of fell out and felt like it stayed in that vein. And then Grow Where He Grew Up stood alone, and I'm like, okay, how do we fit her into there, because that's just such a great song that I'm so proud of. So yeah, I think that they all have their own energy, and for me, I'm just passionate about like female characters, strong, empowering messages and vibes and good energy, like across the board.
I'm so happy you brought up Youngish, because that's the song I can't get out of my head.
Yay,
I love the
that.
EP, but Youngish for me, I'm just like picturing myself on the golf course, sun beating down on me, White Claw in hand, like just vibing and just having the best time.
It's so much fun. We played it last summer, and no one had ever heard it, and just immediately people are vibing right away. There's such a freeing feeling to it or something. It felt like old school, like Shania, like old Keith Urban-y kind of vibe, and it's just like, it's one of my favorite songs on the EP.
A great song.
I really like it.
You mentioned you wanted to have a strong female voice and strong female characters, and I want to, because you mentioned Beth Dutton and you mentioned Yellowstone. Are there strong female characters throughout your life? And family is one thing, but I'm talking like movies, TV shows, even in songs that you're like that.
That's so great. Yeah, absolutely. I think I don't know, there's something really inspiring about that. And I love it when it's like in a subtle kind of way. I mean, Beth Dutton is a great example. She's very powerful in a very extreme way, but like someone like Dolly Parton is like the sweetest. You just feel like she's so sweet, but she's like a, business owner and huge philanthropist. And like, you feel like she cares, and she's so hardworking. And so she's definitely somebody that I love. I'm watching the show Wednesday on Netflix.
Yes!
Which is great. It's so awesome. And she's such a strong character as well too. So I love strong female characters. I think they're important, and I love that there's like more of them than there ever was, versus just like princesses when I grew up. Now there's like people like Wednesday. I would have loved her so much if I was a kid. So
did you see that fact about Jenny Ortega, who plays Wednesday, and the fact that if you watch, her whole thing is she never blinks? She did it.
Yes, I saw that. I've been like watching it too. I'm like, she still hasn't. It's so cool.
Well, we did a whole thing where we tried to see how long we could not blink for. We made it like 11 seconds. It's so hard not to blink.
It is hard. Yes, she's so good in it. She's crushing it for sure.
I loved her in You, and then I'm like, okay, I'll follow you wherever you go, because you did such a great job in the show You. But
yes, I agree. Mm-hmm.
I know this is going to air sort of in January, but this is top of mind right now, and it'll still fit for January, because I always love to see what my favorite artists, what they listen to. And so we're getting our Spotify Wraps, and we're getting our Apple Replays. Who was your top artist? What were some of your top songs that you listened to last year?
Yes. I think my top artist might have been Morgan Wallen. Him or Casey Musgraves was the top one. Taylor Swift. I had a lot of like Leon Bridges, JP Sachs, who's like more songwriter, 1975. I love like all types of music and stuff like that. There's an artist named Ian Munsick. He's on Warner, and he's like very cowboy, really like classic country that I've been like obsessed with. So I think his song called Long Haul was my number one played song, actually. Because
so many people now are going to listen to that song because they're like, well, I love Madeline, and now I'm going to try and love what Madeline likes. And that's what I love about this kind of, everyone's like, I don't care about your rap report. And I'm like, I do. I want to find
Me too. Stuff. Yes, I know. My like listening personality was like the new, like you're all whatever, like you're on the pulse of new music or something, like The Explorer, I think it was called, which is so true. Like I love New Music Friday. I love new songs, new artists. I love supporting that. And it's just so inspiring because they're just doing something brand new no one's ever heard before because they're a brand new artist. So I love listening to new people.
Everybody finds brand new artists at different times. Feel like I've been doing this 20 years, but I'm glad you found me now. Some people with this new EP are going to find you as a new artist and then go back to your old catalog and listen to some old stuff. And I'm just excited for what's to come on the new label, the new EP, and hopefully you'll come visit us up here in Calgary soon-ish.
Absolutely. I would love that. That would be
Awesome.
great. Yeah,
We appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time and all the best.
Cool. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, buddy.